What is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. We're back. We got a new face in the mix today. I am Nate Nelson out of Dallas, Texas with LaForce Entertainment, and I have my counterpart here, Mr. Glenn Roush with LaForce Entertainment. Glenn, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself since you're new to the show?
Oh, man, yeah. So I'm originally, Dallas is home for me. I founded LaForce Entertainment in 2010. Nate's running around the room, so I think there's a problem, but we'll go with whatever. No, Dallas is home. I've got my beautiful wife, Jennifer LaForce Roush. That's where that comes from. 2 kids and a great team of about 30 DJs that we rock North Texas with.
Absolutely. And then the man on the bottom of the upside down triangle, whatever you want to call it, Mr. Jordan Marshall. Jordan, tell us about yourself.
We're going reverse pyramid today. Reverse pyramid. I like it.
Absolutely.
So, what's up, guys? Jordan Marshall from the East Coast, based out of Monmouth County, New Jersey, owning and operating an entertainment brand called Explosive Entertainment, where we specialize in high-end, exciting boutique bar and bat mitzvahs on the main. We also specialize in wedding development as well. Really any excuse to have a good time, corporate events, all kinds of cool functions that you guys are designing from the ground up, and you want something a little special, a little bit different to where your ideas really take over and take control. We are the cup of tea for you. And Jersey is starting to feel like Texas. We're crazy. Yo, we're getting crazy. So I like it. Full of energy this week, guys. It's a pleasure to be on the panel with you.
Hey, man, that's
Wild
awesome.
West, man.
Yeah, we are the Wild West. And you know, we've talked, in past weeks about going to conferences and, speaking and things like that. And I've been constantly trying to decide whether I want to change my seminar to be more about being ready for when the Wild West hits you, because it's been like a slap in the face to us in some parts. We've been prepared. We talked about how we worked on the things to be ready for when the world did open back up. But I don't think that we knew that it was going to come back as fast and as rapidly as it did. And I think that as it starts to trickle in other people's areas, it's really, you're either going to be ready for it 100%, which I don't know if you can, or it's going to slap you in the face and you're going to be I don't know if it's a more of you're not in like event shape or if you're not like ready to go, but I'm excited because there's so many different opportunities right now for us, and the world's kind of our playground because there's so many opportunities for us to go shine and be good, and the things that we worked on during our downtime in the COVID time has really excelled us in different areas. So we're just going to chat today a little bit about, usually it's kind of on the opposite spectrum where it's Dylan and Jordan, all things explosive in the mix, and then JSG is with us. But this week we got a little bit of, maybe you guys can step into the Dallas side.
I like the flip. Side. I like the flip, bro.
Yeah, it's the first time we've had 2 LaForce guys on. And so, for those of you that don't know, Glenn is the owner of LaForce Entertainment, started the business, I guess 10 years ago. Glenn, if you want to kind of tell the backstory on how LaForce came about so people kind of know a little bit about that. I've never really covered that. So,
and kind of like the NBA owners. I don't really refer to myself that much as owner. I really kind of focus on that I'm the founder, the leader, the CEO. It's my job to be a leader. I don't really own anyone. I just own the assets that I own, or IP and some gear. So first of all, that's kind of my overall strategy. I started DJing in college at Baylor. Well, I started DJing some church events when I was in high school, but then when I got to college, I needed to make some money, started DJing fraternity and sorority events. And then my friends started getting married, and that's how I got into doing weddings. And thanks, Dylan. I like my headphones. These are what was assigned to me. So, so I started doing weddings, and then, really no intent for this to be, listen, I mean, this is 2006. There weren't a lot of full-time wedding entertainers, period.
Big facts.
Not that there weren't any, but there just weren't a lot. And, everyone was so focused at that time. Everyone was so focused on, here in Dallas, Andy Austin had started Light Dallas, which is now rebranded as Beyond, but they started a lighting company. And so all the DJs here were chasing lighting and production companies and doing all those kind of things. And I was doing accounting. I hated accounting. I was miserable being stuck in the cube for 12 hours a day doing tax returns. I was good at the math, but just miserable doing that part of it. And Jennifer told me to quit for about a year. Finally, I did. Started LaForce Entertainment, went out to just a ton of DJs across Dallas, Fort Worth, and said, hey, I want to start this thing. I want to make a high-end multi-op. And most of them proceeded to tell me how that was insane. It would never work because their context was all the multi-ops that existed at the time that just hired a kid off the, well, at that time, the street, not even the internet, but just hired a kid off the street, gave him about an hour of training, put him on an event. They hoped that they kept him for a month or two, and they just churned and burned. And so everybody told me a high-end multi-op wouldn't work, but I went to all these DJs and said, hey, I'm good at the business side.
To the bank.
Yeah, I said, listen, I'm good at the business side. You're good at the performance side. Why don't we work together on this thing and find what the sweet spot is and really make being a DJ and being an entertainer a valuable and important part of what we do. And so I was able to get 10 DJs to say yes and come on board in 2010. And in 2021, we're sitting here with 30 DJs. So
Incredible. And guys, really too, I mean, on the flip, I have the privilege and the pleasure of not only, having gone out and worked with LaForce in Texas and see their whole operation, how they put it together. But these two guys are two of my closest friends in the industry. If you guys aren't following these guys, please smash the follow button. Glenn's story is absolutely incredible. And Glenn, actually, you hit the nail on the head, bro, because whenever anybody asks me about like the LaForce brand and kind of how you do it, I really, it's a testament to you guys being an amazing multi-op with, you guys run deep. You have a lot of staff going on, and you guys, really do complement that high-end market, something that, I think that's kind of like the test of time. Is it a multi-op or a single op, or are you going after, the big money? You know what I mean? Like kind of like it's either one or the other, and you guys really have found a great meeting ground to bring the two worlds together. So hats off to you guys. Really good.
And I think speaking as a number two, that's here and not making the overall NB decisions, and being it's almost like Glenn's created partnerships for all of us so that we take our ownership and pride in our events and what we do, which really in turn, gives the guys, the freedom to be themselves. Yes, we have a brand standard that we stick to, but I think in the long run, like those guys are their own personalities. They're their own people. They are the Dom Nagellas of LaForce Entertainment, or the Justin, the DJ of LaForce Entertainment, or the CJ, the DJ. Like all of our guys have, their own brand and their own persona, but they are partnering. And that's what's something that's really kind of embraced. Like a lot of guys, if you talk to people that had larger multi-ops across the country, turnover may be something that may be hard for them, and they book just their company. They don't book the individual, where we book the individual out. And when they sign the contract with us, they're booking me, they're booking Dom, they're booking Justin, they're booking Matt, they're booking whoever. And we haven't had a lot of turnover. We've been lucky because Glenn's very, I would say, involved in our lives and continuing to educate us, continuing to give them the tools they need to be successful, and continuing to innovate. We want to try to be the front runners in things that we do, whether it's lighting, whether it's any kind of aspect that goes into our events. And it's truly a blessing to be here, like for sure. So
before any of you DM me, the answer to your question of how do you keep people is you pay them well. My DJs make good money. That's the long and short of it. Talk to them, ask them. They have big W-2s. They make good money.
That's such like clutch stuff, man. It really is. When it comes down to it, it's almighty dollar, And guys, being that you guys are the Wild West, literally, Nate, Glenn, what are you guys finding? What's the move kind of out by you guys? You guys been rocking events. Nate, you've been doing live streams. You've been doing, high-end weddings, kind of like all over the place with stuff. Like what's the call coming in for? Like, where's everybody
Everything, Jordan. I mean, we've talked about it in weeks past that, there's so many people that have been locked up and have been at home. They just want to be around people. They want to celebrate. They missed birthdays. They didn't get to have birthday parties last year. They didn't get to have weddings or graduation parties or proms or all these things. And so every aspect on the spectrum that you could need a DJ or entertainment or lighting or anything for, people are now having those events and having those parties. So it's almost like we paused where life events happened, but
right.
In-person life events couldn't happen, and now people want to go back and celebrate. So you have people that had 40th birthdays last year, 50th birthdays last year, anniversaries, mitzvahs that should have happened that are happening now, proms. Like the class of 2020, those seniors will never get to have a prom.
Agreed.
You know, if they got to go to their junior prom, you know, as a junior, then they got to experience it. But the proms that we're doing right now, those students typically didn't go because they were juniors last year, and the year before they were sophomores. So it's a brand new spectrum of kids that have never even experienced prom, whereas sometimes juniors would come in. So we've done a lot of proms. We have 4 this weekend, and then we have 20-something weddings. So this is, I think, our busiest weekend to date coming up. So we're really excited about it. And
busiest weekend since the shutdown.
What are you thinking now, guys? Like, you know, what are you guys valuing the most? Like now that like we've shut down, we come back, it's almost like a refresh. It's almost like a different company, almost like you're attacking a little bit different. Like, you know, your mode of trying to get the word out. Like, what do you find is the most valuable thing? Like, what are you valuing now? Like going forward with your sales process and like just like creating these events.
I think you have to be lean and mean. I mean, that is a bit, it's multifaceted. It's, you know, our team and all the things about our business were decimated with the shutdown. You know, we were fortunate enough to be in a state that, you know, so Jordan, you know, there are people that we both know in New Jersey that were being critical to me 3 or 4 months ago about the fact that, you know, Texas should just be sheltering in place like everybody else. That way we can get everything under control. You know, my retort to them was, at the time, California was on their way up on cases and all the stuff while they were shut down, while we were on our way down, while we were more open. And so I look at it as our governor gave us an opportunity to be leaders. And so, you know, it's an interesting thing though. We're, you know, for those of you that are in states that are just starting to reopen, you know, it is a challenge getting staff, getting people, you know, because there are a lot of things going on, you know. I think pretty much across the country right now, there's a housing boom. So anybody that can swing a hammer or do anything in the construction side is busy there. So you just have a lot of demand for workers.
Right.
And then some of it is that you have people, you do have a segment of people that are unwilling to go back to work. But I don't think that's the case. I think it's more just people moved on and started doing other things. And they're just not, especially us being in the event industry. I think the average, I don't want to say human, the average American probably wasn't even conscious of the fact that this was an actual industry until the pandemic hit and they started hearing about and you know, just the level of the effect it had on people was all the drop off in events. And so I think people are a little hesitant on that side too to jump back into an industry until they're going to be confident that there's stable income and money to be made. So the staffing side is difficult, but there's a lot going on. You know, it's a little unique and different because of where we are and because it is the Wild West. We're getting, you know, we didn't do anything for it, but for example, unless you were living under a rock, there was a big fight here this weekend. And, you know, they went to AT&T Stadium where the Cowboys play and had almost 75,000 people together in an arena watching a fight. So you have people intentionally coming here. So we had a conference a couple weeks ago. They're intentionally coming here because they can host people, have conferences. So there's that level of it, but there's just the normal level of, you know, as your states is for those of you that are in spots that are starting to reopen, about to reopen, and you're trying to kind of think through that process, you know that there are a lot of companies that are going to want to do stuff, big and small. Big and small means size of events, because after everything that we've gone through, corporations are starting to realize that if they don't bring their team together in some form or fashion and create and cultivate the culture and a team dynamic, their people have no real reason to gravitate towards staying at that business. They're just somebody that's collecting a paycheck.
Right. Really well said, man. Really well said. And I also, another tip of the hat to you guys. I mean, when you guys were starting to first come back around and do your thing, you know, your guidelines and your COVID restrictions and regulations were totally in the forefront. So that's another thing for all you guys out there. If you are, like Glenn and Nate were saying, first jumping back into the scene and you know, your state's just opening and getting going, be that leader, be that person, have those COVID guidelines smack on the first page of your website. You know what I mean? Like we have up there where, you know, we're all at the point where we want to get down. We want to get our parties back to normal, but there's obviously regulations and rules that need to be followed. I think if you put those in the forefront, and that's really like what you base your whole plan of attack around, you're in good shape.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it was weird. There were plenty of times because we reopened. We started doing events again in late May of 2020, and it was really just pretty much all weddings for the bulk of the events that we had in 2020. It was almost all weddings, and there were definitely times that it was weird being at an event, and as people would get comfortable, you'd be in a room with 100, 150 people, and as they get comfortable, fewer and fewer masks, and you're the DJ, you're the person standing in this room, and it's like, I'm wearing a mask, so I'm like, whoa, this is insane right now.
Right.
But at the same time, like, I say that to say, like, we followed the protocols, we followed the safety guidelines, because the alternative was to do nothing, and doing nothing was just miserable for our mental health, for the health and safety of providing for our families. It's just, as we all experience, it's one thing to keep your people that you care about safe, and still have to deal with at the same time the fear of, how am I going to put food on the table?
Right. Awesome, man. Really well said, Glenn. That's good stuff. Nate, why don't you reset the room, man? We got people checking on the chat too.
Absolutely. Yeah. We got Kevin Garrity in the house. Can we get a hi, Kevin? Hi, Kevin. And Daniel Burton is checking in. The more they drink, the less they think. Just kind of line off of what Glenn was speaking to.
That's a t-shirt. That's a t-shirt, Nate.
Yeah, for sure. And I think as you guys are getting more and more events, and people that are watching, check in if you're at home and you're watching with us. Just check in and let us know you're here, so we know what part of the country or universe you're in. But we want to know and hear from you about how things are going in your areas, because we are, like Glenn said, we are in the Wild West, and that would be, people want to come to the Wild West. So companies are moving here, people are moving here, events are happening. We just hosted the largest boxing match in the history of the universe at AT&T Stadium last Saturday night, and it was the largest event that's happened post-pandemic in the world, at 76,000 people in AT&T Stadium. So things are happening. There's a lot of stuff going on around us. The conference we did 2 weeks ago, where we did production and AV and live streaming on, was 800 people in attendance, and another 100 that were watching virtually. So there's large events happening, and then the more that you get into it, you're going to see and you're going to understand that people want to celebrate and want to have fun and be excited for the parties that are coming your way, because it's time to really go. What's up, Kev?
What up? And guys, too, if you have any questions or anything that you're dealing with in your area or your network of clientele or other professionals, and you got some questions for us, you are on the chat with two of the best in the business, that rock it out there. And, we could definitely want to help you guys out. So any questions you guys have, throw it up there. Let's do it.
Jason Woods checking in from Richmond, Virginia. He has 6 weddings booked so far this year and 3 charity events. So, yeah, man.
It's a great start, man.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the restrictions in Virginia are, but, look at Texas as an example. Like, people at first were saying that we were irresponsible and dumb with our government to allow the things that have happened to happen. But our numbers were lower than most people across the country, sooner than other people's were, before the vaccine really started rolling out. So,
and my kids have been in school. Nate's kids have been in school the bulk of the year, which, for any of you that are parents, you can relate to that. Just be not even from the child care standpoint, because I think that's where everybody immediately that tries to go to, but from the mental health and the development of my kids. Like, my oldest son is a first grader, has ADHD. Learning on an iPad was not working for him. So
right.
I'm happy that we're pioneers in some of these things.
I feel that pain on his end, Glenn. I feel that pain.
And Jordan, you've experienced Easton and Truett, and so you've been here, and kids need other kids, man, and that's 100. Something that's been. There's my wife checking in. She said she's been in school all but 4 weeks of the school year. So they started the first 4 weeks virtually, and then went face to face. Kevin says he had a wedding in Brooklyn with 60 guests, all were masked up, but the next day back in Central PA, 130 guests, not one mask. So
it's so weird, man.
It's different parts of the country, different areas, and it's really, kind of what, Daniel said earlier, the more that they drink, the masks come off, but also it's people's comfort levels and how much they've been around people. If you have someone that's been locked up and been at home for the majority of the year that's been COVID, you know, they're not as apt to take their stuff off because they're weary. They haven't been around, but yet, you know, I've done 70 weddings since the pandemic started. And, you know, now it's, I wear my mask when I walk in, but once the party starts, you know, I take it off to MC. And then, you know, now our governor's saying, and the CDC's even saying that masks shouldn't be required inside now because of the vaccine and how many they're out within the United States. So it's coming to an end, guys.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to be able to hug and fully be around people. And so get excited.
Yeah, we hug it out anyway, though. We hug it out anyway.
I'll hug it out with you. Yeah, for sure.
And
So,
guys, go ahead, Glenn. I'm sorry.
Oh, Jordan, I was just going to hit your thing because I have an idea on how we pivot on this conversation. So
please,
share
go for
yours.
it. Oh, I was going to say too, guys, if you're looking for, you know, to be that leader and to be that, that determining factor in your area, there are other ways that you can kind of help bring comfort, because really that's what it's about. It's about making your clients, your other vendors, everybody that's in your room, in your space, in your touch point, doing these events, you know, comfortable. That's really what's up. So, you know, shout out to my partner company, Total Entertainment. They're actually taking in professional medical staff. So Jamie actually started a 10-week clip with doing stuff with Total to where she's recruiting registered nurses, certified nurse technicians, like people that really went to school and got their, you know, their degrees in the medical field. And they're working together to bring them to the events, to have them on site, to take temperatures, to do the COVID checks, to make sure that everybody's legit. So I feel like there are ways that you can kind of go those extra steps to really ensure comfort to your clientele, to where it's like, hey, listen, you know, I know stuff's crazy right now, but look at all that we're doing here to, you know, ensure that you are going to throw a safe and effective environment, you know, at all of your friends and family. So there are ways that you can kind of like do some really innovative and different things to get that event across, you know?
Absolutely. And Kevin, I can't wait to kiss you on the lips. Kevin, you're coming to Chicago, right?
Yeah, but he likes that open mouth stuff, man.
No, I'm not down with the open mouth.
Weird.
Like I can be down with the northerner, like just a kiss on the lips, but not really.
Oh my God. So,
we love you, Kevin.
So Jordan, the thing that I'd like to kind of pivot away from the negative side of things on the pandemic stuff is understanding from our experience, since some of you guys are just starting to have events on the regular, the positive and the flip side of this that I hope continues, and I hope that we can draw out of our clients and draw out of our guests, is that people that come to our weddings and have been coming to our weddings over the last almost year now are incredible. They're more engaged. They stay longer. You don't like, we're in the Bible Belt. So, you know, here we had plenty of the older guests that would just stay for the cake cutting and then they would deuces. They were out. And now it's aunts, uncles. Well, first of all, our clients are using the cover of lower guest counts to cut their parents, people that are the neighbor that they lived next to 15 years ago. And their friend, coworker, like they're making their parents cut out the fluff.
Right.
But on top of that, people are just so excited to be around other human beings and to be celebrating, dancing, doing other things that they stay. They're really engaged. They're on the dance floor. They're it's a very euphoric feeling. So for those of you that are really starting this process of reopening, as you're doing your planning meetings with your clients, start setting that expectation. Start having them tell their family and friends about that side of things. Like, isn't it going to be great to get to see each other again and to be together again? I'm looking forward to dancing with other people. Like, start talking about those things, because it is a wonderful experience. Like, there are times that it makes me very emotional at the end of weddings lately, is because it's just like, and it's stupid stuff. Like, I had a client a couple weeks ago that wanted to play Don't Stop Believing for their last song. And it was just like one of those things that was like, you know what? This isn't something like, I don't want to do every wedding the same way, but this was a great moment and a great memory that I miss this side of things. I miss that just euphoric feeling of people singing at the top of their lungs and just being completely in the moment. And I think people recognize that and understand that now from having to be so stuck and so still.
So well said, man. I was just telling Nate this before we logged on. I was out in Florida this past weekend in Destin doing a wedding that was all outdoors, but it had been rescheduled 3 separate times. The guest count went from 180 down to 65 or 66 guests. And the bride and groom, they're already married at this point. You know, like everything's kind of happened. They're just literally ready to turn up. And they were so like, they were like tigers in like attack position. Like they danced through dinner. They danced. I mean, like, and if you know, if you've ever done anything out in Florida, you know, the structure is everything's loaded up and similar a little bit to Texas where you guys, you know, everything's loaded up a little bit more towards the front end. You know what I mean? And then like the last, you know, hour and a half is, you know, kind of reserved for like open dancing. You know what I mean? They were kind of on their own plan. You know, they're like, listen, that's cool that's the technical dance set, but we're going to rip the whole time. Like you couldn't pay them to stay in their seat. And literally 65 guests felt like 150. And it was just such a great feeling to be playing and mixing and just, you know, the vibe and being outdoors and watching these two kids that had been married for like, I think 5 months. So it's, you know, it's been done, you know what I mean? But just experiencing everything and being in the moment. And you know what you're not seeing a lot of, not as much? Cell phones. I couldn't believe it. Like people are literally out there dancing and enjoying themselves.
We stared at our devices a lot.
Crazy.
Yeah. And it's time to step away from the virtual.
Amazing.
Like it's just like things that I've done with my virtual streaming. Like, you know, people are so accustomed and used to Zoom, but they want something different than Zoom. So, you know, it's gives them the opportunity to step away from the electronical side, the virtual side of things, and be back and be present and be in the moment. And I think that, you know, if there's any silver lining out of that, it is that people, when they're around you, they're more genuine because, you know, they're not talking to a screen. They're not looking at the black mirror. They're fully and focused and with you and being a part of that. So that's a really cool spot. Jordan, since Dylan and Jeff both had things that ran late today, Dylan's usually our driver of this conversation. So he usually takes us from spot to spot to spot. What are some things that you are looking forward to over the next 3 to 6 months that you want to share, and maybe we can bounce ideas off of to kind of just chat? Yeah.
So I'm really excited about you know, down obviously by me in the New Jersey, New York. Yeah. Jamie throwing up the G money symbols. I like it. You know, out by us, you know, all of our venues, we have spectacular venues, really, really great spots here in Jersey. And one of the cool things that I'm really excited for is that the majority of them from now until say 4th of July weekend, pretty much are outside. We have like outdoor venues and people that got creative, like selecting different venues, stuff that you wouldn't normally like, you know, think of could be a spot. Like I have clients that are like decking out parking lots, like, and just literally like coming into a tent that's all turned out and, you know, feeling like you're in the middle of Miami or South Beach and you're literally chilling in like, you know, a store parking lot. But like they're like the venues are getting super creative and I'm excited to perform at these outdoor spots and these different spots that like, you know, in my almost 20-year career, you know, we haven't really done that. Like we've done outdoor stuff before, but like if we're going to an outdoor venue, it's already predetermined. It's usually somewhere that's like super beautiful out in the PA area or somewhere by Kevin Garrity, you know, out in the Lancaster area where they have like beautiful grounds and stuff like that. I like how people are totally like hybriding their events and getting creative at this point because they're like, you know what? F this noise. We got to roll. So I'm excited for like the spots that are coming up.
Yeah. And I saw in Jersey, I keep muting my mic because I think since Glenn, if you guys don't know, Glenn's in the exact same room as me.
Are those his legs? Those are his legs.
There you go.
His legs. Nice.
But so in Jersey now, dancing is allowed at weddings, correct?
Thank
yes.
God.
So for how long has it been that way where it wasn't allowed?
I think we've been where we are right now, like probably about 6 days, 7 days. Like we're literally like a week and a half into like full on, like people literally just started to be able to sit at a bar in New Jersey a few days ago. So like that right there, like, and I appreciate it. I appreciate the safety. I appreciate the guidelines. I appreciate everybody's comfort. And also from a guy who was in one of the state, New York, New Jersey, that's like last to the table, you know, as long as you keep getting creative and you're like, yo, how can I work this? How can I make this a work? You know, there you go. Jamie is excited. We got that Donovan spot, man, this summer. That never disappoints. So, yo, when you come down this summer, bro, we're doing it.
Let's do it. Let's do it for sure.
It's on.
So
yeah,
Jordan,
man, that's the move.
What do you think? If let's just think for a second that there was no pandemic and we went on doing the same things that we were doing, and we were, you know, we're always looking to elevate our game, change our business around to be not just the same thing. What is the thing that has most changed in your business and in your personal performance aspect of things after a time away from doing it? Like what would you say is like your biggest new asset that you didn't have before the pandemic?
I think a renewed sense of appreciation, dude. Like I've never been in a situation where something that I was born to do this, man, born to entertain, born to like be on a microphone, you know, make people have these amazing, amazing times. And I've never had something like that be taken away from me, you know, to where I can't do that. And not because I physically can't get up to do it, but because, you know, we're not allowed to. I never thought I'd see that day. So right now, getting back into it, like I literally have like goosebumps right now because we're back. And like, you know, in talking with Dylan and Mike and my partners, you know, we weathered this pandemic well, you know what I mean? Like the bank account was pretty good. You know what I mean? Like we were never obviously it sucks, you know, we're like, man, how do we troubleshoot this? How do we, you know, best allot our PPP? Like there's all that stuff going on, but like we were never in trouble, which is a great feeling. And to know that you kind of have built this amazing lifeline, you know, extensions of ourselves, myself, Jamie, Mike, Dylan, Jeff, like, and it's working and it's functioning and it can get you through the hard times. So like, I think a renewed sense of appreciation to be back and live in front of people being like, hey, listen, this can be taken away from you. Appreciate every minute on the floor, behind the mic, designing an event, working with a planner, working with a couple, working with a family. Like it's like I just started again, man. I'm like fresh in the business, bro. I love it.
Yeah. Agree. Glenn, what about you?
Yeah, it was definitely a good chance to recharge. That's for sure. Even if there were moments that it didn't feel like that, it definitely recharged us. You know, for me, I've always considered time as my biggest asset because it's the thing we don't get back, and traveling is so important to me. So I'm very much looking forward to being able to go places again without all of the, not without all the, just not so much with all the restrictions, but just having the freedom to move about and to feel like I can go places. And so I'm really excited about traveling again.
I heard about that. I heard about that Texas lake party, bro. I heard that's a thing. So
absolutely, dude.
Not right now, dude. It's like we live in London or something. Or
yeah, it's raining all the time right now.
It's been raining like for 4 or 5 days straight, and it's like 70 degrees outside. So we did get a lake day last week, which was very much needed.
Yeah, that's why I'm targeting September is probably when we're gonna do the big thing, just because it's still nice and warm here. Do it right after Labor Day. So I'm looking forward to traveling. You know, the biggest difference and change that it made for me, I did a recording with Alan Berg earlier for his podcast, which he's got a really cool little concept that he's doing over there. You know, and I was sharing with him, and I'll share it with you guys. I went into the pandemic having a pretty big identity crisis because I was, and some of it was going to collective. It was comparing myself to others and comparing my outcome to other people's outcome. And I was really struggling with the fact that, you know, should I continue down the path that I'm going, which, you know, managing a team of my size is fraught with all kinds of stress points and challenges. Or should I just, you know, should I be focusing like, you know, Brian B and some of these guys on doing luxury events?
She said you were having an identity crisis because you didn't know if you were Glenn or G Money.
Jamie with the zingers, man. She's on point today.
Hey, Jamie, you get it though. You understand when G Money is in the house and when Glenn's in the house, and that they're different. They're different things.
Your kids don't get it though, do they?
They don't.
They're big G Money fans. They can't.
But you're G Money, Dad.
It's true.
Yeah, so that was great. I had a bag of props in my truck, and it's my kids' toys. And my kids, it was Easter. We were going over to my sister's house for Easter, and my son was like, "Are we staying the night at Aunt Susan's?" And I was like, "No, why?" And he's like, "Well, there's our toys right there in that bag." And I was like, "Oh, no, that's G Money's bag."
Those are my toys, dude. What are you talking
about? Goes, "But you're G Money." And he doesn't get alter egos yet, but he's 7.
So good.
Anyways, back on track. And so for me, it was seeing Rob with Rock With You and Jacob with Jacob Creative, Brian B, seeing all these high-end luxury DJs. And I was really struggling with, is that really the path that I should be going or should be putting my time and energy into? Because it looked like it was, for me, I was really struggling with the fact of, I felt like I could probably be making about the same amount of money with a lot less headache and heartache from managing a team. And, the good thing is slowing down during the pandemic. Jordan, you and Jamie got to come to my house. I spent a lot of time during the pandemic in my backyard. I've got this amazing little oasis of a backyard. And, just sitting back there, and I really, it was funny when when there were the questions in my mind of, am I going to lose all of this? Is this, because how long is this going to last? Is this, am I going to lose the whole thing? It really took me into a reflective place of thinking about the fact that, why did I build this? Why did I start this? Where was I at? For me, it helped me realize like, I loved and I love, I started the company because I believed in that DJs could be more than what they were. And I realized that I like being a coach. I like being somebody that's in the business of personal and professional development. Some of that helped from watching Ted Lasso on Apple TV or Apple Plus. If you haven't watched it, it's a fantastic series. And so I realized that I wanted to be a coach. I realized that I wanted to help people achieve more and be better. And it gave me a renewed sense of why I do this and helped me kind of drill in and focus on the things that I value and not to let comparison steal my joy.
That's and correct me if I'm wrong too, Glenn. Your part of your business model allows LaForce to have its workers be a part of the brand till the end of time, till they don't want to do it anymore. Correct? Like to actually be like dialed in and like have a place, for longevity and to like kind of hang their hat. And if you want to be a part of this team, and you're going to put the work in.
Absolutely. Alan asked me in the earlier recording, and so I need to go look it up, but he was asking me the length of stay of our team. And I would say that the bulk of our DJs have been here 5 years or longer, and we're an 11-year-old company. We've got a handful that have clipped at the 10-year spot, but the bulk of our team has been here 5 years or more. We have a really high retention ratio. And a lot of it is just the reality. It's like I touched on earlier. The reality is I have no way of actually knowing and proving it other than if a group of DJs came in and challenged me. But I stand by the statement that I truly believe that at least 3, if not 5 of the top paid event DJs in my market are on my team because I pay my team well. We work a lot. We do a lot of events. And so that's the other side of it is that, my team leaving, if they're leaving, most of them leave because they've got to the spot where they either don't want to do it anymore. They have other things in their life, their business, their family that they just want to give more time and energy to. That's not to say that we don't lose anybody, but the bulk of it is just people get to the spot where they don't want to do it anymore. And that's also a good thing of giving people that freedom to they like being in charge of how long they want to do it. I've got one that's he's graduating maybe this weekend with his he's a DJ that's my age that went back to school after he had kids. He got an HR degree. And he just kind of told us, he's like, hey, I'm going to chase. I want to, be more present with my family and I'm going to go get a job in my field. And so I think he just gave us a runway. He said, listen, keep booking me until I think he's spring of next year. I think he's April or May of next year. He just kind of gave us his runway for where he wanted to land.
See, but that's awesome. Now that that, if you guys attack that, ground running, you're ready for that transition. You know what I mean? You have a whole year to kind of prep or, put somebody out like somebody that you want to bring up on the team into that position. Like, that's awesome because
and Jordan, what you're hitting on too, like everybody, like Glenn's saying that has left has really left going into a different profession, just completely out of the industry. We've had one person leave on bad terms, but everybody else pretty much like, and that's over an 11-year period. And if you were to talk to any other multi-op company in the country, they're all going to tell you that people is probably some of the hardest things to manage. So kudos to Glenn.
It still is for us.
Crazy. Us too, man, as a multi-op. I hear you. Like ego, like battling egos and other talent. And because let's face it, like both of our brands, in our own respective areas, like we do super high-end work. Our parties are off the hook. The talent that we employ is super high end. So like dealing with the personalities on that end too, especially like, on our end, we deal with just straight up MC talent, like talking pieces, mouthpieces. So like, it's like a million of me running around, so like it's
that's scary.
It's tough, bro. It's tough. Everybody wants to be the owner until, it's tough.
And you got to deal with the IRS.
Yeah, man, exactly. Right now, and such a huge topic right now is, that we're all getting back into the event performing mode and, with gigs, like finding and cultivating your team and maintaining your team, bringing your team back in, saying, okay, listen, we've had a year of a break. Now it's go time. Like that's going to be big is building those fundamental roots that are going to, kind of bring the next level, your 2.0 team to the after COVID, events.
For sure. Well, guys, we've got like a few more minutes left here on the show today. And so I just want to thank everybody that's been commenting and checking in and letting us know where you're from. Again, I'm Nate Nelson, and right here to this direction of me is Glenn Roush. And then below us is the man, the one, the only Jordan Marshall out of Explosive Entertainment. We've got a lot of things going on over the next couple weeks. We're going to be back in 2 weeks, hopefully with the entire crew, JSG, Dylan, and I hope that we were somewhat inspirational, educational, and entertaining today without Dylan keeping us in track.
It's a blessing and a curse. Everybody's getting busy, so we're like shuffling in the teams. It's
for
good.
Sure.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's really
absolutely. Jordan, what do you got coming up this weekend or over the next 2 weeks that you're excited about, and where can everybody find you?
No doubt. So I got a couple things going on this week. Starting this Friday. So if you guys haven't tuned in yet, I have a brand new radio show that I kicked off about 2 months or so ago. It's on Hits 101. Shout out to my buddy Lance George for bringing me into the team. And it's off of Hits 101. The show's called The Traffic Jam, and it airs every Friday, West Coast time, 5 p.m., so 8 o'clock Eastern. And you guys do the math all through the different regions. But you could tune in for an hour. It's high energy. It's super cool. It's like designed to be like your after work party, driving home, turn up for the weekend. I have special guests. I have guest DJs on there. I had Scooter on with me, DJ Scooter, one of the industries.
I've been on it.
Yeah, Nate's been on it. I had Jamie 2 weeks ago. We did Free Britney Friday. It was cool. Britney Spears is back in the tabloids, so we did a whole little Free Britney kind of episode. So we have some fun on it. It's a good time. And then also this weekend, I got a finally bar and bar mitzvahs are going out, like real ones. So it's great. Okay. I got a big bar mitzvah on Saturday, huge full day event setup, and we're going to execute it at night. And the client is very prominent in our area, so I'm excited about rocking that one. And then just a bunch of events going out this weekend. And just looking forward to keeping things rolling.
And everybody can find you all social media platforms?
Social media platforms, all things at the one Jordan Marshall. You could also look up Explosive Entertainment, xeevents.com. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up. Love to speak with you and chop it up.
Absolutely. And you've got a big conference coming up in June.
Sure do, man.
If you're a DJ and you're looking to educate yourself, it's going to be the second DJ conference that's happened this year. Jordan, what is your role with that conference?
So I have the privilege and the pleasure of actually hosting the entire conference with my boy, Sean Big Daddy, the man, the myth. And we are going to be hosting this week-long event that's out in Chicago. So if you guys are familiar with KC, the homie Keith from Chicago, who runs the Marquee Show Group, he's putting forth a DJ and photo booth expo and has some of the nation's top speakers, top entertainers, presenters, people like Brian B will be out there, Joe Bunn, Nate, you'll be in the house, all kinds of cool seminars and some different stuff too.
Just added Rachel Lynch to the lineup. She's Rachel Lynch speaking, so
DJ Qbert will be in the house. Yep. Yeah, man, there's a really, really great lineup. And the cool part about this conference, I think, is that KC wanted to do some different style topics out there. There's going to be one, I know for a fact, all about being how to get your foot in the door to be a pro sports team DJ or an entertainer, something cool,
Digital
really
Dave.
cool. Yep. Digital Dave, the homie Flipside, who, does stuff for the Chicago Bulls. Yep. So like you're going to have premier entertainment talent literally giving you the keys on, how to, hopefully get your foot in the door if that's something you want to do, or, an avenue that you want to tackle. And that's just one of the, cool, more different types of seminars that we're seeing here at this one. So it's going to be great. There's a whole bunch of nightlife and after conference all-throughout that's going to be going on. And
I'm excited about that. It's a little different than most conferences. And I've had a lot of chats with Casey over the last few weeks about things that are going on. If you guys are watching and you're familiar with Jasmine from Hype, she's got a venue called Loft 21, and we're doing a dueling piano night where at the after-hour nightlife is going to be come into her venue. There's going to be dueling pianos. He's bringing in deep dish Chicago pizza and Chicago dogs. Like, it's going to be true, like Taste of Chicago is what he's calling the night. So it's going to be a really cool kind of just place that you can go to that's very close to the hotel. So I'm really looking forward to some of the stuff that he's doing. He's thinking outside the box.
And networking 24/7 with these guys.
It's going to be cool. So
really cool.
If you're on the fence about going to a conference, or if you didn't get a ticket to the DJ Collective because it was sold out, then come check out the Marquee Show in Chicago. I'll be speaking on Wednesday morning. I open the day at 9 a.m. And then Jordan's going to be hosting it, and there's a lot of great speakers that are going to be there. So come check us out with that. So, Glenn, what do you got coming up? Business, personal, things going on over the next couple weeks and months?
Well, I just want to say, if you don't mind, I just want to interject one thing because I've had a thought, and I hope he sees this. Please don't let. I know that KC sometimes can be in the DJ industry can be kind of a quote unquote controversial person because he speaks his mind, but please recognize that he is someone who is highly intelligent, highly successful, highly motivated. Don't let the fact that you may disagree with some comment that he's made on the internet or some other thing stop you from attending a good show that's going to have good education. The only thing he's lacking is a sexy ginger to be speaking on stage.
I'll see if I can pull some strings, man. Yeah, I was so true.
I'm working my way up. I know that I've been blacklisted because I'm trying to create the DJ retreat, and it's going to compete with all these other conferences. But that's all right. I can handle being blacklisted pretty soon. So I'm hoping. Where can you see me? I'm hoping this and Alan Berg's podcast is going to lead to me getting an opportunity to either speak on or be on either the Cool Kids or Sippin' or one of these other podcasts. We'll see. I don't know. I just gotta keep my fingers crossed on that side of things.
But do you want that to be you or G Money going on those things? That's the real question.
I think that's the question for them is who do they?
And G Money, don't forget, man. You got one of your first guests right here, bro. So let's get it together.
Let's go, bro. And I need to figure out getting my podcast. Jen and I want to do one that's life made normal and just talking about the mundane things of life, but talking about the things that people just don't talk about sometimes. I don't know, you guys, you're not going to see me much of any place. I'm really I like being the mad scientist in the lab. Like, it's who I am. I'm okay being behind the scenes. I'm okay. Like yesterday, 2 days ago, sorry, I had a sales meeting with some clients and a planner, and the planner at one point she's like, I didn't know you owned LaForce. and I was like, good. I'm glad you didn't know that, because why do you need to know that? If you like my team and you like working with my DJs, what does it matter? As long as you're happy and they're happy, it's a good situation.
Just means you'll be able to take weekends quicker than anybody else, my friend.
I don't know. It's just I guess.
I like fly. You know what? I like flying under the radar sometimes too, man. That's really cool, and it's a testament to you, bro, of how much of a well-oiled machine that you have. Obviously, Nate is your number 2, and just like the team that you put together to where, this thing clicks and it runs, and we do serious entertainment damage in a very good way, and people don't even know that you own it, bro. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I don't have to be the marquee. I don't have to be the star. And I think that's part of what helps. For me, you mentioned it earlier. It's doing what I do, and anybody that's going to run a multi-op or anything in the entertainment industry, you're going to deal with egos. Mm-hmm. It's just the long and short of it. You're going to deal with egos. Any of you that are listening, make sure that your ego is not costing you money, because ego is a very quick and easy thing to get in the way of what your actual goals are. For me, I don't think
pew 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 pew
pew pew.
That's a pew pew.
That's a pew pew moment
comment,
right there.
Man. That is
gold.
I don't think egos just don't bother me that much. Listen, I have one too, but it's like Nate and I, we both have big egos, but at the end of the day, it's very easy for us both to put them in check in the fact of just like, okay, listen, whatever I understand that as an entertainer, we have to go be a star and be an entertainer and be a person when we have a mic in our hands or in front of the decks, whatever it is we're performing. We have to go be. It's just like we joke about my alter ego G Money, but like there's a time that you have to be this person, and a lot of times it's just making sure that people like Nate and I understand. Like, listen, you can go be the guy, you can go be Nate Nelson and be the star in all those terms. But at the end of the day, like, we're still just two people, and we have to still be able to find that connection and set those things aside, because a lot of that, it's okay for that to be for show for other people, but it doesn't have to be for show right here when it's not even that I know the reality, but just that I know the other side of the person. And that look, it's exhausting for those of you that are maintaining that ego all the time. That's exhausting. Like, you got to have an inner circle that you're able to let your hair down with.
Yep. Work hard, party harder. That's my mantra.
Facts.
Well, guys, I'm Nate Nelson. You can find me at all things social media at DJ Nate Nelson right here. And I've got 2 weddings this weekend, but my Kings of Prom team has 4 proms, so that'll keep me on my toes this weekend, definitely for that. And then I've got some pool parties coming up and some other weddings, and it's just every weekend is kind of we're hitting the ground running and doing our thing. But
you'll be at Marquee.
I'll be speaking at Marquee, so you can find me there. I'll also be speaking at the DJ Collective. And then I haven't decided if I'm going to come hang out with Jordan at AC, but we'll see.
Don't do yourself a disservice, bro. It'll be a good time.
I know. If I do it, I need Big
Well,
Daddy.
don't you got to come and pick up all that gear you bought from Jana?
No, he sold it to someone else. Somebody came in and somebody else came in and was like, "Oh, I'll buy that and buy that and buy that and buy that and buy that." So you don't
Jason
turn down
Jana,
when
we
people
need
got
to
money
talk, bro. We need to
in the
talk.
front. It's all good. I've got custom
somebody that's
tables
gonna
being
be-
built.
I'm sure it was somebody that's going to be SEC event group or something
Yeah,
like
right.
that.
SEC, yep.
Or CES
man.
event group or something
Yep.
like that. Who knows?
There you go. There you go.
Hopefully Austin, Texas in September. So
Yep. Be on the lookout. Details coming soon. Well, guys, we're a little bit over our time. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us today.
thank you.
For all of you that checked in, have a fabulous week. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Get over the hump and enjoy your weekend. And as always, from us, from QSC, from Jordan Marshall, from Glenn Roush, to JSG, to Dylan Weisman, the entire crew here, thank you guys so much. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Don't forget, you can check out next Wednesday. The girls will be right here.
The ladies of QSC.
The ladies of the QSC DJ discussion. Stay tuned. If you're not already liking the page, like the page, hit the notification so you can be notified when we go live next. But we'll see you guys next week. We out.
Thank you,
Peace.
guys. Peace.